you fans do not really want fights. You just want the drama. Let's talk.
Straighter, not roundhouse right hand.
And that's what we've been talking about. The straight shot is the one where he gets leverage on it.
I don't want to kill
Pull
somebody
back
for
a little bit.
seconds.
Nah, I want a body on my record.
Now, I want to see you fight motherfuckers. I do. All right? I'm with you. I'm with you. As long as you're trying to fight the great, the best competition.
Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Yo, it's the best, fight the best. If you ain't with the moto, just click the link, bitch, and get buried like the rest. It ain't gonna work how you want it. These trolls already tried, too many come but don't leave. So if you hear, you gotta die. I'm spitting straight facts. These bitches crying cause they hate that. The LDBC's the top topic, bitch, hate that. We the ones that bring the truth to these fans. So while you hate, I'ma laugh and keep counting these bands. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link, get prepared to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you.
Welcome to the graveyard.
So for the longest time, I find myself asking the same question over and over again. Do y'all want the fight? Like, if you want the fight, then you should be mad at anything holding it up. That's what you should be mad at. And it shouldn't be difficult to figure out what's holding it up. Any fight. You should be like, okay, well, this guy says he wants it. This guy says he wants it. Okay, well, what's holding it up? Is it the location? All right, if it's the location, then who's the A side? Is this guy the A side or is that guy the A side? All right, well, that guy's the A side. So this guy says we want to do it in Vegas. And this guy says we want to do it in fucking Tennessee. Well, the A side is saying Vegas. So how is the B side mad or not want the fight? A ring is a ring. A ring is a ring. It don't matter if it's in Pluto. It's still a ring. So because more fans will be able to cheer you on, the fans can't fight for you. So why would that? This is where we should be having. This is the conversation that we should be having if you're talking about a ring, location. All right. Well, it's the gloves holding it up. This guy wants to fight that guy wants to fight that guy, but this guy wants these gloves and that guy wants those gloves. Well, who's the A side? That guy's the A side. Okay, well, that guy wants those gloves. Cool. This guy wants those gloves. Well, what's the difference? Those are puncher gloves. He wants to wear puncher gloves. He wants to wear boxer gloves. All right, well, he's the A side. Well, the A side says he wants to wear puncher gloves. So then you as the B side can wear the same puncher gloves, or you as the B side can wear your boxing gloves. What's the problem? Is the A side saying you can't wear boxing gloves? What's the problem? Or is the B side saying, I'm not, you A side, you can't wear puncher gloves. You got to wear, you don't run anything. You're the B side. You don't dictate terms. Then they say, okay, well, is it a money split? Okay, it's a money split. Well, who's the A side in the money? Who's the A side? When it comes to money split, it's who's bringing more money to the table. That determines the A side. Who's bringing more money? All right. You're bringing more money. Then you're the A side. So if you're bringing more money, as the A side, then you get the bigger split. As the A side, you're bringing more money. What's the problem? Well, what's the confusion there? So if the B side is saying, yes, the A side is bringing more money, but I want more money because of what I did somewhere else, that has never been a determining factor of A side, B side status. It's never been that. It's always been, in the history of boxing, it's always been about who brings the more money to the table. It's just recently now people are saying, oh, well, based on accolades means that this guy should get 50-50. It's never been that. You can't even name another fight where it's been that. It's never been that. Never. The A side has always been the determining factor. And the money you bring to the table has always been the determining factor of A side. Always. You can't name another fight where that's not the case. It's always been that. That is the reason why Mike Tyson was the A side to Lennox Lewis. When Lennox Lewis was the undisputed champion and Mike Tyson didn't have a belt. But Mike Tyson was the A side. That is the reason why Floyd Mayweather was the A side to Manny Pacquiao. When Manny Pacquiao was an only 8 division champion in the world and Floyd Mayweather was not. But yet his numbers, the money he was bringing to the table was more than Pacquiao, so Floyd was the A side. That's why Oscar De La Hoya was the A side to Floyd Mayweather. That's why Sugar Ray Leonard was the A side to Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Bro, you could go on and on and on and on and on. That's why Andre Ward was the A side to Kovalev. That's why Terrence Crawford was the A side to Jeff Horn. We could go on. We could go on and on. It's always been the money. It will always be the money. Always. Because if it's not the money, then you should be fighting bums and making big bread. A lot of views because of what you've accomplished. But Terrence Crawford just fought Sean Porter, and Terrence Crawford was undisputed at 140 and did less pay-per-views than what Errol Spence did with the same fighter. And it was cheaper. Terrence Crawford versus Sean Porter was cheaper than Errol Spence versus Sean Porter. It was cheaper. And easier to get. Although y'all make an excuse about an app, the apps are easier to get. Easier. And you have more accessibility to them because you can get it on your phone. Whereas it's like, fuck, man, I can't. I'm at the club or shit. I'm eating dinner. You know, I'm out with the family, with the friends. I really can't. I can't go home and buy the pay-per-view on my TV to watch it. So I'm just gonna miss out. I'll watch the replay. The app, you can carry it with you. It's on your phone. It's in your pocket. You could download the app right before the fight. The same thing they say about DAZN when it comes to Canelo Alvarez and the numbers. When Canelo was fighting on DAZN. Oh man, they could download, the numbers would do great when Canelo's fighting, and then after that, they get off the app. Yeah, the same exact thing. The same thing. It's always the money. Always. If Terrence Crawford was a money man, he was bringing a lot of bread, well then they would buy the app specifically for Terrence Crawford and then cancel it. But yet, you had a more accessible a way to see the fight on the app, which was more accessible because you had it on your phone, your tablet, whatever. More accessible. It was cheaper, and you still didn't buy it. You guys do not want to see Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. The Terrence Crawford fans, you do not want to see that fight. You do not. At all. You'll buy an Errol Spence pay-per-view, but you won't buy Terrence Crawford's. You'll say Terrence Crawford is the man and Terrence Crawford does this and Terrence Crawford beats Errol and Errol's scared and blah, blah, blah. You say all that. But then you'll say, Terrence Crawford, you're the B-side. But as the B-side, you need to get 50-50. Or you'll switch it and say, Terrence Crawford, you're the A-side. Right? You're the A-side, Terrence Crawford. But Errol Spence, you need to send a contract. When that's not how it works. The A side sends a contract. The A side makes an offer. Oscar De La Hoya did not send Floyd Mayweather anything until Floyd Mayweather accepted. Floyd Mayweather did not send Manny Pacquiao anything until Manny Pacquiao accepted. And we can go on and on and on. Lennox Lewis didn't send Mike Tyson nothing because Mike Tyson was the A side. We could go on and on and on, man. We could do this all day long. The A side dictates terms. The B side agrees to them. The B side can say, hey, wait a minute, whoa. I'm not fighting in your backyard, homie. Come on, man. Let's do this in a neutral site. That's a negotiable term. Let's do this in a neutral site. Oh, come on, man. I don't want to use grants. I don't want to use horsehair gloves. Let's negotiate the gloves. Let's use something else. Those are negotiable terms. What you bring to the table is what you bring. There is no negotiating about the number. That's what you bring. Now you can try. I'm not telling you can't try. You could try. But you as the B side can't say 60-40 in my favor or no fight. Because then you don't want the fight. And everybody that agrees with you don't want the fight either. You do not want the fight either. When Deontay Wilder was trying to fight Anthony Joshua and was willing to take $15 million flat, was willing to take that, and you guys were shitting on him saying he don't deserve that, you didn't want the fight. You didn't want it. When the man said you want $50 million, here's $50 million, and all the excuses you made, oh, well, he can't take money from BT. He can't take money from this. But he was willing to take it to fight Tyson Fury. You don't want the fight. Where y'all think the money was coming from with Tyson Fury? Y'all think BT had nothing to do with that fight? If Anthony Joshua fought Tyson Fury for Undisputed, you really think that BT had nothing to do with it? MTK had nothing to do with it? You really think that? But you wanted that one, though. But when it came to Deontay Wilder, you didn't want nothing to do with it. Because you don't want the fight, bro. You didn't want it. You knew the outcome. Terrence Crawford fans know the outcome. That's why they say, oh, man, nah, that fight's 50-50. It's got to be 50-50 split. It's got to be. Because, Terrence Crawford is undisputed. Undisputed, so it's got to be. It's got to be. Although Bernard Hopkins, who they don't talk about, took less. Bernard Hopkins, who had more belts than Oscar De La Hoya, took less to fight Oscar De La Hoya. Something that they don't talk about. And not only did he take less, not only did he do that, he came in underweight. Because Oscar De La Hoya said so. That's why. And Oscar was the A side. And Bernard had more belts. But Oscar had brought in more money to the table. Facts. All facts. But y'all won't talk about that at all. Y'all won't talk about Usyk and Anthony Joshua. Y'all just blow that off as if Usyk was not undisputed. Oh, but he was a mandatory BF. Yeah, he was. Because he was undisputed. Yeah. And Terrence Crawford was the mandatory to Jeff Horn because Terrence Crawford was undisputed. And Terrence Crawford was the A side to Jeff Horn. That was a 60-40 split for Terrence Crawford because his numbers were better than Jeff Horn's. That's why Anthony Joshua's numbers, Anthony Joshua's split with Usyk was better than Usyk's because Anthony Joshua's numbers were better than Usyk's. You guys don't want the fight. You want the drama. You want to get online and watch the Twitters back and forth. If EJ says something, then all of a sudden, oh man, this ain't real, man. EJ, all you gotta do is agree to budge terms. You don't want this fight, man. You're scared. You're ducking. You're a coward. This is a 50-50 split, and everybody knows it because this man was undisputed. But undisputed only works for Terrence Crawford. It don't work for nobody else. So I wonder if Terrence Crawford fights Josh Taylor. I just wonder, what's the split? They were both undisputed. What's the split? What's the split? But y'all won't talk about that, though. Y'all won't talk about that. Oh, well, listen, man, Terrence Crawford. Listen, man, Terrence Crawford. What number's Josh Taylor? Well, no, BF, don't move the goalposts. Don't move the goalposts. Terrence Crawford's the A side because the numbers, BF. Don't move the goalposts. Josh Taylor ain't never did no pay-per-view, BF. Don't move the goalposts. Fine. 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 So then the numbers is what will make Terrence Crawford the A side to Josh Taylor. The numbers. It will not be the fact that he's undisputed. It will be the numbers. It will be because Terrence Crawford has done pay-per-views and his numbers are known and Josh Taylor has not. So Terrence Crawford will be the A side to Josh Taylor because of the numbers. And that's the reason why Terrence Crawford is the B-side to Errol Spence. The numbers. It will have nothing to do with his accolades. The numbers. Yeah, numbers. You don't want the fight. Y'all don't want the fight. Y'all like arguing. You like the drama. Oh, well, let's get on Twitter and make some memes about Errol Spence. Yeah, because Terrence Crawford said this. Although Terrence Crawford, all he has to do is say yes. Let's get on Twitter and make some memes about Deontay Wilder because Anthony Joshua said this when all Anthony Joshua had to do was say yes to the $50 million. But let's just get on Twitter and say, let's get on Twitter and talk shit about Deontay Wilder not wanting to fight Tyson Fury in the trilogy. Yeah, Block Squad. Let's get on that, blah, blah, blah. When Tyson Fury, all he had to do was say yes to a fight that he said yes to already and then said no to. You guys don't want fights. You just want drama. You want social media drama. You do not want real fights. You don't want the best to fight the best. You want social media drama. You want the best to get on Twitter, Instagram, fucking whatever the fuck other things, IG. Or y'all want to do that and just go back and forth. That's what y'all want. You do not want fights. You don't want to go to the arena, sit in the fight, and see your fighter get his ass beat. You don't want that shit. Nah, fuck that. I can get my victory on Twitter. I can get my victory on IG. I can do that. I can go on TikTok and get my victory. I'm good right there. Y'all motherfuckers don't want fights. Because if you did want fights, then the only thing that would matter is what's holding it up. That is the only thing that would matter. What's holding up Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence is a 60-40 money split, which is a very good deal. That's what's holding it up. And the man don't even deserve 40% because his numbers say 70-30. His numbers say that Errol Spence gets 70 and he gets 30. That's what his numbers say. And I proved it. His numbers say that. And they did say 80-20. And Errol is giving the man 60-40. You guys don't want to fight because you're making every excuse on why he shouldn't take that. You're agreeing with the man's bullshit. Y'all don't want Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. You made every excuse on why 60-40 for that fight wasn't a good deal. Y'all made every excuse on Anthony Joshua was the A-side. As the A-side, Wilder don't dictate nothing. Wilder don't dictate nothing. He can't say nothing. He can't make no claim. That's what y'all were saying. Anthony Joshua was the A-side. Wilder can't dictate nothing. Eddie Hearn out here, Wilder can't say nothing. All he can do is say yes. He don't got no turn. He's the B-side. So if Terrence Crawford is the B-side, what's the difference? But yeah, Eddie Hearn is out here saying, Errol Spence he's not going to fight Terrence Crawford, man. He's going to duck Terrence Crawford and move to 154. But Eddie Hearn is the one that said Deontay Wilder can't make no terms. He don't dictate nothing. This is the same person that said this. Because Anthony Joshua is the A-side. As the A-side, Wilder dictates no terms. That's what Eddie Hearn said. So if we were consistent, then Eddie Hearn would be telling Terrence Crawford, bro, you don't dictate no terms. Errol Spence is the A-side. You don't dictate terms, homie. But he ain't saying that. Why? Because he wants to sign him. Y'all like the back and forth Twitter, Instagram, social media. Y'all like that. That's where your fights are at. So stop coming to me telling me you want to see the fight because you don't. BFTB. Shout to the mighty LDBC. And I'm out.